So my case conference is about so I most of the time do an after school activity called Power Up, which advances a lot of children in regards to math, reading, writing, literacy, all that stuff. And there's sometimes the TOD, the deaf teacher at our school will stay behind certain days, especially because with the third grade class that I am back in, um all three of our children do attend the Power Up. And there's a few times where, well, like, so last week, my boss, my big boss of the company that I work for, had came in and he had asked if because he saw that like my student that is deaf was not like participating, but wasn't really signing or anything. So I really wasn't supposed to be voicing for him. But in regards to the TOD, he had explained that if I do sign, like interpret for her, and interpret and voice for the two kids that they're technically part of our program. One has hearing aids and one has two cochlears. And I explained, yes, I do. And in regards to our speech class too, I voice for them. Well, voice for our TOD for them because she can talk, but really not that great. So she prefers to just strictly sign. And if I mean, it's my job to interpret, so I mean, I don't really mind doing it. And it gives me practice with voicing, which I don't really get to a whole heck of a lot. So, so I never mind. And again, it's our job. And I guess he didn't really like that too much because I guess when I went to lunch, my mentor well later on like not well, I didn't eat because we were on a field trip and this and that and that day. So when we came back, we had like after me and her went to lunch and she had explained to me that that he doesn't particularly like me voicing for the students. Well, for them, for the TOD, for this for our kids in our program because they really don't require services. And I just found that, yeah, I just found that very I kind of gave her a weird look like I am right now. I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I guess he doesn't like she's able to communicate with them, so I guess that since they really don't require services that uh our TOD needs to find another way in order to communicate with them." And I was like, "Well, that's really odd." I was like,
Yeah, EOD is teacher of the deaf, right?
yes. And she's truly
And
like she does have cookers, but I don't think she really likes them, so most times she takes them off. And even with them on, she can't really hear a lot too. So they sometimes like depending on what it is, like sometimes she can hear people talk and sometimes she can't. But even when she does, she prefers to just sign. Like even when like we have state testing next week and in class, like she was asking me these questions about the state test, and I was like, you know better than me because I was switched to first grade and now I'm back in third grade. So, and we already did first grade testing. So I was like, I have no idea what's going on with third grade right now. So she came with me to my actual student's teacher. And like even then, like I was interpreting, voicing for her, back and forth. And so like even with that, I technically really wasn't supposed to do that, but like why would I not? So like that whole thing when my mentor, like she was just like, when he comes and visits again, and if you see him, just try, I guess not to. But like even today for like our speech class and for our power up, she was there today and I still voiced because I was like, why would I not voice, especially to give me practice. And I mean, just because those two kids don't require services doesn't mean they know, like, they don't know what she's saying, So I don't know how, so I don't know if you guys have any input on what I should do if he comes back and visits. Um, because I don't know, I just found that really odd that even though they don't require services, like why should I not voice for the TOD and then why should I not still interpret for the two kids that are a part of our program? Technically don't require services, but don't really know sign language. Like they know bare minimum. Like or if they see me, like they'll try to learn, but they they know like very easy, like hi, goodbye, drink, water, like very easy So I just didn't know. I don't know. Just that whole situation really rubbed me the wrong way, especially for like the owner of my company that I work for. I was just really shocked that he said that the team
Um,
needs to find another way of communicating.
I'm wondering if perhaps he doesn't want to set a precedent where then they always have to get an interpreter for her, or she expects it or something. So, I mean, I know you're there and it doesn't cost anything extra, but I'm wondering if that's maybe what they're afraid of, right or wrong. Like,
Yeah,
doesn't sound great to me, but perhaps a lot of times it does come down to the money.
that is true. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
I need clarification
I
because
know.
it
That's
makes no sense to me.
that's
Okay, let
why.
me ask,
Yes.
hold on. The man you're talking about, he's not the teacher of the deaf, right?
No, he's the owner of the company that I work for called AI Def that's contracted with the school that started our DHH program last year and that brought in our TOD to the school.
So he is attending this function in what capacity?
He was just there to just check in with everybody, see it like I think that was the almost what since January to now that's his third time popping in. So sometimes he'll just, if he has time during the day and if he's around the area, he'll just pop in, see how like things are going. Especially one of our students had when I was back in first grade, one of our first grader students, she really bad behavioral problems. So now I think he's trying to come in just to see how that situation's going a little bit. And uh when he came in, it was like right after like she left, like that. I guess that was the last class with the TOD that the first graders had. So he was already there and just stayed to talk with the TOD. And then,
Okay.
yeah.
So does he use sign language
Yes.
himself?
Yes. And sometimes like he will like there was one day where I needed like a half day coverage for my slippy. So he came in and he covered for me. And like I think what was it like 2 years ago, he was an interpreter for my third grade student that I'm with now. So yeah, he does community and education. So yeah, I
And
just
then the child that you're interpreting, that's the owner of the company, the coordinator of the services that you provide. The
yes.
child that you're invoicing for is not deaf.
No. But he he technically is, but he has cochlears, but one of them is not working. He got water damage, so I guess they're trying to fix one. So technically he is deaf on.
So, but so that child uses sign language,
Um
right?
very little. They
So
mainly
you're voicing for him for how
uh,
are you voicing for, are you repeating what he's saying?
no, I'm sorry, I was voicing for the TOD, our deaf teacher, because she was signing.
So the teacher for deaf is deaf.
Yes.
So you were voicing for the teacher of the deaf,
Hmm.
and there were no deaf students in the classroom?
No, there was my student in that extracurricular out of how many? I think there's 12 of them. 12 students. He's the only one that's deaf.
And the rest of the students in the classroom can hear?
Yes, but they did not know, and especially all the hearing students, like they're trying to learn sign language and they're really great. Like the school's very supportive with them trying to learn and everything, but they they were just like a deer in headlights just watching her because they don't really see her like as much as our DHH students see her.
Okay, so who are you hired to interpret for in that setting?
My student who is deaf.
And your student who is deaf was in the classroom and could understand the teacher of the deaf,
Yes.
but none of the students in the classroom could comprehend what the teacher of the deaf was signing.
No.
What the heck?
I I know. Yeah, it's very weird. Yeah, she doesn't go to a lot of the power-ups. Every now and then she will like out of since we started in March to now, she's probably attended and it's every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. She's probably attended about 15, so a good amount. But it just depends because we have another school in Immokalee and another school. I forget where, kind of almost Marco Island, that they have a few other DHH kids. So she travels. So she
Okay,
gets a.
so his problem was that, what did he say to you exactly?
He said to me exactly that since those kids do not require services, I shouldn't be voicing for the TOD.
And what skin off his nose is your voicing for anybody in that classroom? Since you're sitting there, you're accommodating a deaf person who is in the room. What is his problem? Do you think that you were understanding the TOD? Do you think that you were interpreting correctly for
Oh,
her? Is she hard to?
no. She's especially even more, I'm not, she's definitely more English based signing than strictly ASL. But no, her signing is very clear. Like even my mentor, like she was kind of taken back too because there's sometimes where like if I'm interpreting all day, like she will switch off of me to give me a little bit of a break and stuff. And even she even said that she was kind of appalled by his response with that because even she didn't understand because she was like, well, Brooke also voices and practices for my videos for our class and stuff too. And I have like another one that I want to do too coming up. And yeah, no. And he was like, well, no, that TOD is gonna have to find another way to interact with these kids. And I'm just like, if I'm already sitting in the classroom and my students there, like, like I'm like, I don't know, like I didn't really see a problem, especially when, I was just, yeah, I was just so like so confused. I'm still confused over it. And I'm just like, I'm already there. It's not costing anything extra.
So what do you think ethically? Think about the ethics and all of the tenets of the ethics. What do you think your responsibility would be in that regard?
For me,
It's not a question.
no.
It's not a
For me
no,
personally, I like obviously my responsibility is just strictly for who I'm hired for, which is my student. But I mean, if I see like like anybody who's deaf and they need not that help, but just a little like in order to break that communication barrier. And if I'm already there, to me, I feel like it's just like I'm not gonna just sit back and relax. Like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna interpret, I'm gonna.
but when he comes back, I want you to think about in the tenets. I want you to think about what your response will be to him, because that's what's important.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know, I feel like it's such a sticky situation. I don't know. I feel like when I'm there, if he does come back, I'm definitely my mentors, whenever he is there, he always she gives me a heads up. So I feel like in that situation, I'll definitely ask her, or maybe I'll just sit back and kind of relax and maybe she'll do the voicing. But even then, he even told her not to voice. So I guess I guess if he does come back and if he's there for that instance, then I don't know, I'm just gonna not I'm just gonna not voice. Sorry, I'm just not gonna voice in. The TOD again, she can talk. It's not great. So she's probably and I guess he had to talk with her too from my mentor, what she told me. So I guess she's gonna probably talk when he does come back. If he does come back for that certain time, if he's there for that power up.
So Linda, you knowing that world more than us as far as billing, would something like that be billed differently? Would they have, no, okay, I didn't, that was one thing I could think of is that maybe he's going, we're not getting the money we're supposed to be getting that, but okay, okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's a good question, but
No, that is
you're paid by the hour, and nobody's going to divide the hour and subtract or I mean that's ridiculous. And I would have to I'd have to respond to that. it's respect for your colleagues, respect for your deaf consumers. You are providing a service, and out of respect for the person who's in there, you are, I would have to say, my would count it as pro bono.
Mhm.
I'm just count, and then don't even think about paying me for this. Just think about it being pro bono. But I am providing services for the child if someone else steps into the classroom. So, and that just, I have never heard of such. I
I
mean, people have said you don't have to sign this, and
yeah,
I have to say, then you don't have to say that.
I
If you don't want me to interpret it, don't say it. But I mean, unless it's something that's going to be detrimental to everybody in the, if my interpreting it will cause undue stress, undue pain for someone in the, I'm not going to do it then. But give me a break. I'm sorry, Leslie, you've had your hand up.
No, that's okay. So if you were voicing for the student that he has put you with, so those other kids who don't receive services, is that okay with him? Like it's only that it's so if your student that you're hired to work with, if he's signing and the other students in the classroom don't understand what he's saying, then you're voicing for him,
yes, I can voice.
right?
Yes, anything.
So you can voice for one deaf person, but you can't voice for the other deaf
Yeah, for
person.
the other one. Nope.
What does the teacher, what's the TOD want? Like, what does she say?
And that's what, like, I was mind blown because also for, IEP meetings, and she's, especially any kid regarding if they're deaf or not, she's always in the IEP meetings. And if they have, I meant like not deaf or not, but like if they have cochlears or hearing aids. But like she's in the IEP meetings, and they still take out one of our interpreters in our school to be with her in that IEP meeting, and then get another sub interpreter to come in until that IEP meeting's done. So I'm just like, you do it for her almost in any other situation regarding that. Why is it different? Even like when we have ASL club, like, there's sometimes I voice for her and sign back the students' responses. There's sometimes the other interpreters that are part of the program, they do the same thing. So I was just so completely thrown off that in this situation, like I can't. I'm just like, what? Like, I don't know. I've just never, I was literally angry.
It's so much more than any kind of logistic trying to maneuver interpreters would be. Just the value of them having it.
I was so
Here's the thing.
back.
I'm like Kimmy. I think there must be something going on in the in a power struggle for fees and services. He must have a problem with the school not being willing to pay for an interpreter for the TOD. But hey, I own agency as one. Yes, it's oppressing, and not going to pull services or refuse services. So I probably would have to say that I don't feel like I'm ethically within, I don't feel like I am with following my ethics by not providing services. In this instance, it's a random occurrence. I'm already here, and my gut tells me to provide services. And I think your argument may be in connection with the school, but that's not me. So count it as pro bono if you want to. I don't know. I have never encountered that.
I would think this is where that whole ethical is always gray instead of black and white. Not always, but there's a lot of times there are. But in this situation with it being her boss, if she continues without doing it and he does pop up without her knowing and questions her on it, she either has the choice to lie and say she hasn't been doing it, or to say that like that. I can't, I don't even know how I would go about that. Expect to understand it. Gonna go with what you're asking me to do as your employee. I do have some questions and, wondering if you can go over them with me. Maybe it can give me a better insight to understand. So and you can say something like, so in the future, if I'm put in a situation like this, I'll have a better ability to make that decision knowing your thought process. I don't know. So I think of is trying to open that channel and having that conversation with him. Who knows? Maybe he's having a bad day. Hopefully, right? We can only hope, and he'll change his mind when you go to talk to him. But um, opening that channel to have that discussion and getting his insight, and he may shut you down. That's a boss's prerogative, unfortunately, but at least you're doing what you can to be an ally to this group, but also respecting your finances coming in and not wanting to lose that.
That's true. I will definitely, especially what you said, Professor Montgomery, I will definitely, if he does, come in.
Who's talking right now?
That was Brooke, I think. She's just lagging.
Yeah, sorry. Sometimes my connection in Florida is so bad. I don't know. Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's really not.
Sorry, I got confused.
No, it's okay. But I will definitely bring up that if he does come in and he catches me voicing, especially when we do have that speech class so my student has 2 types of speech classes, and then as soon as Power Up ends, he will be doing an after school speech class, too, in regards to his summer school. And so, anyway, like he's probably gonna he might catch me again when he's working with the TOD again, in all honesty, because every Monday, my student works with the TOD every Monday through Thursday during school hours, but that Monday, the 2 other children that have cochlears and hearing aids do come in and work with her for that like 40 minutes. And so he might catch me again voicing, and if he does, I will definitely bring up what you said, Professor Montgomery, because I mean, realistically, I was infuriated when he told me, and when my mentor had that discussion with me, because even she was so taken back by it, because not even just for me, because I was like, all right, maybe I did something wrong, and she was like, no, you didn't do anything wrong. He said you did a wonderful job, but those students and the TOD don't require services. And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if they require services. I was like, she needs, and yeah, I was just, yeah, I've had such problems, honestly, with this company, that it was a great learning experience, but they offered me a job for like the summer and next year, and I denied it because of just like all this. Like I just like, even with that right there, it just rubbed me such the wrong way that I'm like, why would I want to work for you if you're not even gonna, like, I don't even care if I get paid or not. It's just the fact that like I'm gonna do, that's what's right. Like, even if I was at a supermarket, like, and there was a deaf person that needed, like, again, not help. They don't really need help, but again, support and break that communication barrier. I'm gonna do it. Like, so it's just like, as long as I ask them first before just like intruding, but like most of the time they'll say yes.
Here's the thing. I think you touched on the base point of this conversation. It's important that you understand the ethics and the philosophy of those that you associate yourself with. I'm appalled that there are, but I'm not naive enough to think that there aren't people out there that are just in it for the income, for the money.
Mhm.
And I think that it's vital for everyone here in this conference to take to heart that, make sure that you're aligned with the agency that you work with, that you have the same beliefs and common goals. And I hate to even think that there are some that don't have this, but within our state, I know that there are some who I disagree with their ethical choices in regard to interpreting. So, and it's your reputation, it's your profession, and that's on the line. And I would be careful who I align myself with for just those reasons. And yes, Sherry, I on one level, I do agree with what you're saying, whoever's paying you at the time. I don't want to be an accomplice in wrongdoing, and I don't want you to lose your job, but I would have to voice my ethical and my ethical rationale and my philosophy and interpreting and let the chips fall where they may. Which is very, very sad. I'm so sorry.
I was just, it infuriated me. So I was so taken back. I was like, this is really happening? I was like, are you really like, we're having this conversation right now? I didn't even know what to say. I was just, and she could tell, like, I was just, my face said it all. I was just like, I was just so mad. I was like, I got nothing nice to say, so I'm definitely not going to say it. I was like, because I probably would lose my job, which thankfully I have another different job with the agency lined up uh in the summer and for next year. So, which I addressed actually this issue with them because it infuriated me so much. And like, even they said, like, if it does happen again, and if I do lose my job for standing up for what I think is right, then they're like, and if you still need hours regarding the school, they're like, you could gladly do the volunteering and then get paid for when you just signed your contract starting May 31st. And I was like, okay, well, at least that's good. But yeah, I don't know. I was just, especially from like the head person of
I,
our agency. I was just so, yeah. I was even for the kids, like, even for the hearing kids, I was just like, I would still do it for them. The TOD doesn't really show up. They don't really see them, but even then they don't know sign language. So again, for both parties, I'm gonna do it. Like, it's just, I was just so, and then my kid was kept asking me because he saw how mad I was. He was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I was like, no, I can't tell you. I was like, nothing. I said, it was just, um,
I still can't get over it. I'm still I'm so taken aback. I can't even
I
uh, yeah.
9 minutes left, but right, like it literally, like it brings no words to my, like it literally appalled me because I was even talking about it to my parents and stuff, and they were even appalled. They were like, "What?" They're like, why would he say that?" And I go, "I don't know." I said, and it's not like I stayed after school and my student wasn't there. Like, he was there too. So it's like, I'm not. It's no different if, like, it really was no different because regardless, I was still getting paid because they know I'm there that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday after school. And I don't know, even if he wasn't, and if she asked me to stay, I wouldn't have billed them or told, like, obviously I would tell them that I'm staying after school, but I wouldn't bill them. Like, if anything she asks me, I'm like, all right, I'll voice for you. Whatever you need, like, I'm here. I'm following you. Like, I'm with you. So I was just like, wow. I was just like, especially from the owner of our company to say that. And you're an interpreter yourself that does education and community all over. Like, I was just so, yeah, I was just so taken back. I don't even know what to say.
I'm just, I, s- I'm just wondering if his concern is that if Brooke and her student isn't there, but their students are, and this teacher's there, if they would need to, if then they're used to having an interpreter in that situation, there isn't one, and now they'll have to start providing it. But I'm not really sure I understand why the other students would be there with this teacher. But I'm just, that's what I'm wondering about, is that what he's afraid of? Or it feels something like that going on, that they're worried about setting a precedent that people are like gonna expect that when Brooke's not there, and then they'll have to hire someone, and that will be more money. But that, I don't know, that's all I can think.
But that's between the agency and the school. I do hear what you're saying, that they needed to be better prepared for this situation, and he may feel like he's being taken advantage of.
Well, and I'm not saying it's right at all. I'm just saying,
Right.
I mean, is that what's going on in his head, or, I don't know. This is really weird.
Yeah.
And then if that's something, like if it's an agreement that TOD made, yes, I'll take this position. I do understand I might not always have an interpreter. Then I still don't like, then that's maybe she signed a contract and so they're saying we're not going to provide an interpreter, but that's so different still than an interpreter being in the room and being told not to. I don't get it, but kudos for you, Kimmy, trying to figure out a good reason to justify it. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, okay, I could see maybe from the children's perspective, like, or his perspective in regards to children, because they don't require the services, but still, like how Professor Montgomery said, like, if there's a TOD in the room, regardless or not, like, and if I'm already there, like, it's not like I'm taking time out of my day or missing anything. Like, if I'm already scheduled to be there and I'm there, I'm not just gonna sit back and just like people are gonna even the hearing teacher because she does special occasions. She really comes in to sometimes help with me and sit with me and help my students. My students really language delayed, so sometimes she'll stay after for that power up. Especially because he's already repeated third grade and he's making progress, but not a lot. So, but they're still gonna push him anyway. So to fourth grade, but so sometimes she just likes to pop in, especially with him to make sure, everything's okay, doing this and that, and regarding me if I need that extra support or help. But even still, I was like, I'm just the other hearing
But
kid. Yep.
here's the other thing. He's already charging the school for your services. This is not double dipping. He can't charge twice. If they had not made arrangements for you to interpret for her, or even if they had, he couldn't charge them twice for the services, one for the child and one for the teacher. He can't do that. So what difference does it make?
Right. That's actually a
Uh,
great point. That is a really, yeah. It mind blows me. I literally it made me so sick to my stomach and so infuriating because I just don't understand.
Brooke, I am so glad to hear that you have a different agency you're going with, because all of your case conferences, they have been really hard to listen to because I worry about you.
Right? Like, let me tell you, I've been through the ringer with my like, I can't even explain. Like, even Professor Montgomery yesterday, I was talking about how literally one of the first graders that I was with, literally, like, she abuses me. Like, she hit me, like, slapped me, shoved me. She beat me up with the xylophone metal part. Like, I can't even explain. Then when I was back in my other third grade before getting moved to first grade, it was poor teacher management where like some kids were trying to cut my hair, stealing my phone, like looking through my belongings when I wasn't there. It's yeah, and it's been crazy. And now I'm back in the same class, but it's better. But it's still not great. So yeah, I'm very happy to have already at least another plan lined up, ready to go. I can't wait because granted, this is a great learning lesson and I'm very thankful right off the bat because most of the time it doesn't full swing at you right away. But I literally like I don't know, this company, I'm not gonna lie, just really infuriates me. It just like
don't align yourselves with someone that you don't have share the same philosophy in this, it's your profession, it's your reputation, it's your safety, it's your health. Nothing is more important. They can't pay someone enough to offset the harm done to you or to yourselves. So please, and I know if you might feel like you're stuck in that you don't have any other jobs, but I'm like Kimmy. I didn't know that you were being subjected to that kind of treatment. I have been very fortunate in my career to have. I had a student who was kicking me when I, whenever I looked away from her for some reason, I'm ADD. My eyes are going to be going and darting across, that's just the way I'm made. It does not take away from my capability of interpreting. And if it does, I need to know, let me know, but don't kick me. And I stood up and said, you and I, to the teacher, I said, we need to be excused for a moment. And she and I went straight to the teacher for hearing impaired, and we sat down and had a powwow that this was not acceptable behavior, and I wasn't going to accept it. But I also had the support of this hearing, and the teacher for the hearing impaired had my back too. So I'm not going to work in an environment that's not going to have my back, who is not going to be aligned with my ethics, and who can you know, or the just not going to be aligned. And I'm glad, like you said, that you're stepping out of that circle of abuse. And yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
it's been crazy. I literally, even when I literally got attacked with a xylophone and like a maraca, yeah, I told them right away. I was like, I am not coming back. I said, unless you move me to a different school, different I said, I am not here to be a punching bag, and like, absolutely not. Like, which then they did.
Yeah.
They moved me back, and but yeah, I can't somewhat kind of wait until this my contract ends on May 31st with them. We do have less than a minute left, so if this shuts down. But yeah, so thank you all for listening and letting me vent about this, because this was just absolutely crazy to me.
Thanks for sharing.
Oh my God, no, thank you guys. Thank you all for coming too. Thank you.